It's been 1 year since the Devers deal, and I think we keep asking the same question for about a year. Would you still do the deal? Would you still do the deal? I think most people are still doing the deal. Now, let me ask you, 1 year later, do you pull the plug on it? And not because you wouldn't have done that deal, because moving forward, it doesn't make sense for you and your organization right now. Moving forward, it doesn't make sense for Bryce Eldridge. Moving forward, I need to kind of hollow this thing out around Bryce Eldridge, or at least retool this thing around him, and he's my centerpiece. And maybe Raffy's one of the few big trade chips that can get me back something of significance to help retool my team. I need to reallocate money that I have directed toward Raffy and put it toward my pitching staff. I don't know. I'm just asking out loud. No, I'm not trying to run him out of town.
That's a fair question. Do you, a year later, if you were all in on the Raffy Devers trade at the time and he hasn't produced the level you thought he was going to, would you pull the plug on it right now? If given the opportunity, if a team came calling today, and said, hey, we'll take Devers' contract off your hands, give you a couple low-level prospects, would you do that? I would think about it, and if I'm Buster Posey, maybe you have to. Because I don't see this all of a sudden getting better for Raffy Devers. Like, if I was going to bet on it, do I think he's ever going to be an all-star in a Giants uniform?
That's a great question.
Probably not.
God, that's a great question.
Probably not.
That's a great question.
Like, do you think so? Like, if you had a bet on it, do you think he's ever going to be an all-star? Because that was what I thought the Giants were getting when they traded him. We were going to get a perennial all-star.
If you ask me right now who's an all-star first between Raffy and Bryce, I'm probably picking Bryce.
Probably. Which is insane.
Wow.
And Joe, you're going off like a month and a half sample size because you know what?
It's been really impressive.
But it's been impressive. But has Devers put up a stretch like Bryce has put up?
Was it last August? Was it last August?
Yeah, maybe August, Sam.
May was good.
Yeah, May was good. It was good. But I need great from this guy. I need consistent greatness, and I haven't got it. Let's go to some of what the callers were feeling at the time. Again, a year ago to the day, this is how Dave in San Francisco was feeling about the Blockbuster trade.
Hey, good morning, fellas. What a hell of a Monday, right?
Seriously.
First thing I gotta say is it's been such a hard watch. Used to be one of those guys catch almost every game, and man, it's barbecue season and Buster cooked. I mean, he just pulled this fan back from like the depths of like the abyss about watching the Giants. I'm gonna be tuning into every single game from here on out for the next couple of years. I mean, Buster's cooking. I don't even think we're done.
Wow.
So,
I don't either.
Hell of a Monday.
Turns out he was done, really, because he didn't really cook after that so far. You think he's still tuning in, Dave? You still tuning into the Giants right now? 14 games under 500. It's a tough watch. It's a tough watch, man. But you know what? Got Jung-Hoo Lee. Got Bryce Eldridge. Hopefully Casey Schmidt can get it back going. We got Logan Webb looking like a Cy Young in the month of June. There was so much hope a year ago, Joe. That's going to be the constant theme of all these calls. Your voice, my voice. Oh, that was your reaction earlier. Here's mine to the Raffy Devers trade. Buster Posey did something 6 months into the job that Farhan Zaidi couldn't do 6 years into the job. He delivered. He got a big name. And this isn't some rental. This isn't a Chris Bryant acquisition where you're fake going for it. No, this is a piece for the future and for the now.
100%.
In Rafael Devers. That's why it's refreshing to see. And it's a guy that was clearly disgruntled. It was a guy that clearly felt alienated on the team. A guy that's, as you mentioned, he's won a World Series. He's been part of a World Series team. He brings legitimacy to a lineup that desperately needed it right now. Willie Adames, he's starting to get it going a little bit, but he's not the feared bat that Rafael Devers is. Did you guys listen to Clayton Kershaw yesterday? One of the greatest pitchers of all time on the ESPN broadcast. What did he say? Oh, yeah, at worst, Rafael Devers is a top 10 hitter in the game. That's Clayton Kershaw saying that.
My jaw dropped.
Yeah, that makes you feel pretty damn good considering I feel like half the top 10 hitters in baseball are in your own division. Yeah, I was really happy and smiling. Top 10 hitter in baseball is what we thought at worst. Yeah. So what has he been, Joe? For 162 games?
A 235 hitter.
Yeah.
Has he been a feared bat?
No, he's not been feared.
I would say occasionally. No? Am I being too generous? Occasionally?
No, I know what you mean. I think Yeah, when he comes up, you lean forward a little bit. But other than that, right now, don't you feel like that's about it?
I thought it was going to be a lot more fear than it is. How about that?
Yes.
Yeah. I honestly thought it was going to be a lot more fear than when I've.
I mean, who has more fear when he comes to bat? The other team's fan base or the Giants fan base?
That's a good point. All right, has he been a winner?
No.
Has he conducted himself like a winner?
I mean, he hasn't done anything.
No, I'm just asking.
He's bought into his role as a first baseman, so I guess in that respect, I don't know.
Okay.
Joe, I don't know who he is still a year later. I don't know who this guy is.
Has he been a top 10 hitter in the game? These are all the different bullet points.
No.
Because I would have said all these things that you said.
I took Clayton Kershaw's word for it. I should have known better. He was bamboozling us.
I mean, we consider the source.
He was bamboozling us at the time. He's like, man, wow, the Giants really got a great hitter. I mean, oh my goodness. God. And now they got James Tibbs.
I fear him wasting a challenge on a pitch that he should have swung at.
Yeah, exactly.
Or swinging through a pitch that he should have crushed.
I don't fear him at the plate. I feared, what's this guy going to look like a year from now? 2 years from now? 3 years from now?
8 years from now.
Oh, God, is that how long, Sam? 8 years. 8 years and this contract left. 8. Going to be 41. Joe, you're going to be like 72 or something like that.
It's not funny.
I'm kidding. Nice hat, by the way. All right.
What a drive-by.
Well, I had to, so I got to keep it
Has he
humble.
been a star?
No. He hasn't been anything we thought he was going to be.
Are we just, did we overhype him?
Yes. Absolutely we did. But you know what? I thought it was just. And
I did too.
And you know what? I do want to defend us and the callers and everyone at the time that said this because it still rings true. I think Buster Posey needed to show he had the stones, the cojones to pull off a trade like that. And I do think the organization was in desperate need of hope.
Yes.
They were in desperate need of hope from some place, and we felt Raffy Devers was going to be that hope. Could he still be? Sure. Am I totally writing it off? No. But we also have realized a year later, it's never just one player. And the guys that he attached around him haven't been the pieces. Adames being first and foremost, he has not been that dude. Chapman, he's been better lately. I'm going to back off. He's kind of been what you thought, but even the glove hasn't been the super elite as it's been in years past. Jung-Hoo Lee, okay. I'm seeing something with Jung-Hoo Lee now. This guy looks like a baller. Casey Schmidt early on in the season. I saw something. And now Bryce Eldridge. So we're seeing other pieces start to emerge around Devers. Could we start seeing a more, refined and less pressure taken off of a guy like him that may be feeling the pressure of making $300+ million and being the highest paid player in the organization? Maybe. But if we're just judging off the 162 game sample size as he's played in the San Francisco Giants uniform, it's been a big fat whiff. I'll still defend the move itself, though, because it signaled to the organization, I'm going to make moves, Giants fans. I'm going to make some moves. Yeah. I'm going to wheel and deal. I'm not going to stand pat. I'm not going to wait for these prospects to develop. I'm going to go out there and be bold. Did it blow up in their face potentially? Sure.
I don't think it blew up because he hasn't gotten hurt per se. And I think it would be the worst case scenario was he gets hurt and you're paying him to not play. Right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
He still does have some value.
Worst case scenario is, and this was a guy who was a free agent, but an Anthony Rendon situation where you pay him $200 million and he barely plays for you.
The shortstop for the Cubs is batting 177 right now, and he's on a 5 or 6 year deal.
Dansby?
Yeah. So he has not been great this year. No. He has occupied the 3, 4, or 5 spot or 2 spot for the last year.
Yeah.
Devers has. So on one sense, he is a traditional middle of the order guy, which is pretty important because they had miscast guys in the middle of the order forever. I do believe Casey Schmidt has fed off of batting near him. I think Arise has fed off of batting near him. At times Chapman, I think Eldridge. So I think you can make an argument his presence in the lineup has actually been very beneficial to some of the other guys in the lineup. I don't know, man. I'm just thinking about how they can move forward with this, and it doesn't look as good moving forward as I wanted it to.
This hour is brought to you by Frown Bank, here for you, here for good. We'll talk to Justice De Los Santos coming up here in a little bit. 820, covers the Giants for the San Jose Mercury News, Bay Area News Group, and he is locked in on this team. And we'll get his thoughts on a year ago to the date and what's gonna happen going forward as we approach the trade deadline. If teams do start calling, but I have a hard time thinking that teams call him out Raffy Devers the way he's looked this season. It's like, man, I really need to add that guy on my team. I think they're going to be stuck with this contract overall. The guy that's going to be interesting if he keeps producing is Matt Chapman. And whether or not you start considering trading him, I get it. He's one of your best players and hitters right now. The team's 14 games under 500. Do I want to be locked into that salary? Hell no. So as far as I'm concerned, hey, Matt, keep producing the way you're producing. And you know what? Maybe I could actually get some nice prospects for you. You could go elsewhere. I know he's a no trade clause. I'm sure there's some teams. I'm sure he'd like to play for a contender, right? I'm sure he would love to do that.